Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Well, today is a monumentous day for Call of Duty Warzone. My friends, the DMR meta is gone. The Type 63 isn't going to be there to back it up. The first major weapon tuning update since the Cold War integration is officially live, and it's going to shake things up quite a bit. Plus, on top of that, we also got some brand new info on some updates coming later on this week to both Cold War and Warzone as well, so we'll be talking about those previews too. But as we go through everything today, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. And, of course, if you're new to the channel, or if you happen to be a part of the 61% of viewers who aren't already subscribed, this is the place to be to stay on top of everything going on in COD, from news to intel to updates and everything in between. So if you like what you see, feel free to subscribe and maybe even turn on those post notifications. Now, jumping right into the big news, if you didn't know, Raven tweeted yesterday saying, "Don't fret, we've heard you, and a balance update is coming soon to address concerns about the DMR 14, the Type 63, the MAC 10, and then also the dual pistols." Now, the one thing with this tweet was that we didn't know when to expect this update. We didn't know when it was going to take place, since of course, it was just saying a balance update is coming soon. So, soon could have been tomorrow, Thursday, soon could have been sometime next week. It didn't necessarily specify when. However, lo and behold, this morning, just a few hours ago actually, Raven ended up tweeting this masterpiece here. "The time has come. Warzone update going live now. DMR 14 reduced headshot damage and increased the recoil. On the Type 63, they reduced the headshot damage and increased the recoil. On the MAC 10, they decreased the headshot multiplier, and on the dual pistols, aka the Diamattis, aka the Diamatti Spaghettis, they increased the hipfire spread and decreased the damage range." Now, looking into these nerfs individually, I will admit, I think the nerfs don't stop here. I would imagine we're going to see even more adjustments to these weapons specifically over the coming days, maybe on Thursday with the next update, maybe early next week, but on the DMR 14, the headshot damage reduction was definitely needed. It was a 2-shot headshot at any range, which obviously was not ideal. That's partially why this weapon was so broken, because if you could hit those headshots or even one headshot in there, that enemy stood no chance unless they also had a DMR and they also hit the shots at the same exact time. And thus, that's kind of why the DMR was so bad so fast, because everyone realized if you weren't using it, you were probably losing to it. Then the recoil increase, in my opinion, was also much needed. It was very easy to control the recoil even when you would spam it, so that is definitely two very big nerfs and much needed ones at that. Now, to be honest, I'm kind of surprised the body damage, especially like the upper chest damage, wasn't touched, and I'm also kind of surprised the overall range wasn't reduced either. If the DMR proves to still be super competitive now, I would expect both of those things to change in the coming days, so we're going to have to look out for that. Now, as for the Type 63, again, I feel like both of these nerfs here are to be expected. If you didn't know, actually, the Type 63 indeed had a faster TTK to the chest and to the stomach than the DMR did. Then to the head and to the extremities, each weapon was almost identical at any given range, so the same nerfs make sense to me. But again, I'm curious to see if the damage and the range are adjusted in the future, because I could still see these weapons being really, really good once we learn these new recoil patterns. And even going off of some gameplay that I'm seeing on Twitter and on some people's streams already, these nerfs don't exactly seem to be enough, just going off of my initial assumptions. Then for the MAC 10, this nerf actually kind of surprises me, just because it wasn't the headshot damage that I thought made the MAC 10 so good. I thought it was a mix of its mobility and its range, which seemed to combine for a really, really effective close range weapon. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if we have more nerfs coming to the MAC 10 in the future. However, at the same time, I also feel like the MAC 10 was the least broken out of the DMR, the Type 63, the MAC 10, and then also the Diamattis. So to even see it on this list in general is definitely pretty interesting. Then finally, for the dual Diamattis, the increased hipfire spread is hopefully going to combat like the insane one burst you could pull off with them in the akimbo fashion. Then also the decreased damage range is definitely needed, since I believe it was like 22 damage per shot at any range, which made them insanely effective all across the board. So all around, this weapon tuning should help the meta quite a bit. I do think this is not the end of the nerfs for these weapons in specific, but also I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more weapon tuning with Thursday's update or even later on next week to buff some other things to continue making the meta in general, I guess, even more competitive. I could honestly see like the SMGs and the snipers getting buffed a bit, and as a result of today's weapon tuning, I definitely think the ARs and the SMGs and the LMGs all around are going to see a lot more action in the current meta. just because we now know a lot of these weapons that we previously wrote off as just sort of being decent, things like the Grau, the M4, the Ram, the M91, the Bruin even, they're all actually a lot better than we initially thought. So I would expect to see some of these weapons phased in a bit more now. However, I also still think we're going to see plenty of DMRs and even some Type 63s here and there, just because, like I mentioned earlier, I don't think these initial nerfs are quite enough to make them actually balanced compared to the vast majority of the other weapons in the game. Now, on top of the weapon tuning that went live today, we also got some other previews on what's to come later on this week from Treyarch and Raven, as both Cold War and Warzone and maybe even Modern Warfare are going to get some changes tomorrow. So Treyarch initially tweeted here saying that playlist updates are moving to Thursdays, and coming to Cold War on January 7th, we're going to see the new playlists of Raid and Crossroads Strike 24/7, so that should definitely be a very, very fun playlist. We're also going to have Gunfight Blueprints, and we're going to have the very first Dirty Bomb playlist, Dirty Bomb Duos, on top of the continued featured playlists of Nuketown 24/7, Prop Hunt, and then also Face Off, which is 3v3 on all the gunfight maps. And of course, come tomorrow when the update actually goes live in Cold War, then also in Warzone here, all the patch notes and everything that really changed is going to be right here on the channel, so stay tuned for that. Now, Raven also added on to the update preview by saying that the upcoming Warzone playlist update for Thursday is going to consist of Plundered Quads, woohoo, Rebirth Island Mini Royale Duos, and Rebirth Island Resurgence Trios. And in turn, they're going to be removing Plunder Blood Money Trios and Mini Royale Quads on Rebirth Island. So we should end up having these standard Battle Royale Quads, Trios, Duos, and Solos tomorrow, alongside Rebirth Island Mini Royale Duos and Rebirth Island Resurgence Trios once again, then also Plunder Quads to round things out. Also, do keep in mind, we should have Resurgence Quads for Rebirth Island coming at some point soon, so we've also got that to look out for in the future. But yeah, there you have it. With all of that being said, that is effectively everything that changed in the brand new weapon balancing update here in Warzone, and honestly, I'm really curious to hear from you guys on this. Let me know down in the comments below, do you think that these nerfs were enough, or do you think the DMR and like the Type 63 and even the other two weapons, do you think they need nerfed even more here in the near future? Curious to see what you guys have to say about that. But yeah, that is going to wrap things up for today. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you want to stay up to date with pretty much everything going on in COD, from news to intel to updates and everything else in between, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. That way you'll always know whenever I upload a new video. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code WhosImmortal for a spicy discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, and Control Freak products, and all of those links can be found down in the description below. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.